Hey everyone, if you're an Acumatica consultant, you know the feeling. You're working on a customization and suddenly, bam, you get that cannot insert a null value error.
Yeah, it's a real
It
pain.
can be a huge time waster. So today we're going to really break down this common Acumatica error and hopefully give you some strategies to deal with it.
It's interesting because it seems simple at first, but it can actually get pretty complicated.
Yeah, for sure. And to help us figure this out, we've got some awesome insights from an expert Farhana. She's a solution architect at Tayana Solutions. She's got an incredible resume, 9 years of ERP experience, over 1,000 unique scenarios handled.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know, right? But think about what that actually means. She's probably seen it all. Can you give us an example of a situation where this error might pop up?
Sure. Imagine you're setting up a new sales order in Acumatica. You're going through all the fields, but maybe you're in a rush and you accidentally forget to enter the customer ID.
Oh no.
You hit save and boom, you get that null value error staring you right in the face.
I can already feel the frustration. But what's actually happening behind the scenes to cause this?
It all comes down to the database. Like any relational database, Acumatica has certain fields that are marked as not null, which basically means those fields can't be empty.
Okay, I get it.
It's a fundamental rule to keep the data consistent and accurate.
So the customer ID field in our example is probably marked as not null, and because we left it blank, we broke the rule.
Exactly, and that's why Acumatica throws that error message. It's saying, hey, you can't do that.
So it's not just some random glitch. There's a reason behind it. Because of the way Acumatica stores and manages data.
Yeah, it's all about the structure.
Makes sense. And understanding that is really important when you're trying to troubleshoot these errors and prevent them from happening again.
Totally.
So we've seen how this error can happen from a simple mistake in the UI.
Yeah.
But are there other ways this null value problem can sneak into our projects?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that's where things start to get more interesting. You know, like when you're importing data from an old system or even a spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't make sure your import mapping includes all the required fields, well, you're basically asking for trouble.
Right. So it's not just about what we do in Acumatica itself. It's about how we bring data in.
Exactly. And don't forget API integrations. You can run into the same problem there. If the data coming in from another application isn't complete, that null value error can really mess things up.
Okay, that could bring your whole integration to a halt. So this error can be a real pain, and it can show up in all sorts of ways. But how do we actually deal with it? What can our listeners do?
Well, in that sales order example, the obvious solution is to remember the customer ID. But it's not always that simple.
Right? Of course not. That's where someone like Farhana, with all her experience, can really help.
Totally. She's come up with a whole set of solutions. For instance, she's a big fan of using Acumatica's default value feature. Say you have a field in a custom screen that's usually required, but not always, you can actually set a default value.
Oh, that's smart.
Right? So if the user misses it, Acumatica will automatically fill it in. And in those cases, you might need to think about actually changing the database definition or the DAC.
That sounds a bit more complicated. Probably not something you want to try without some serious Acumatica know-how.
And that's a perfect example of why having someone like Farhana or the team at Tayana Solutions is so valuable. They have the deep expertise to handle those kinds of solutions the right way.
It's like having a specialist on speed dial for those tough Acumatica problems that can really slow you down. What's the main takeaway for other Acumatica consultants out there?
Well, the biggest thing is you don't have to struggle with this alone. There's help available.
Right.
Tayana Solutions has a team of experts like Farhana who can really help you out. They've got the experience and the knowledge, and they're patient too, which is important when you're dealing with these kinds of issues.
Yeah, I can imagine. Acumatica projects can get pretty complex.
Yeah.
Having that expert support can make a huge difference.
For sure. Whether you just need a quick fix or a deep analysis of your data structure, they can help you get back on track. It's a win-win for everyone.
So to sum things up, if you're an Acumatica consultant and you hit a snag, maybe it's this null value error, or maybe it's something totally different. Don't be afraid to reach out to Tayana Solutions.
They've got the answer.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the world of Acumatica and those pesky null value errors. Remember, you don't have to solve these problems by yourself. Until next time, happy coding.